You've saved your deposit, you're ready to buy your first home, but what if I told you the deposit isn't even close to the full cost? A lot of buyers come into the journey with their deposit at the ready, and then they get hit with thousands of pounds worth of costs that they just weren't expecting. I'm not only going to break down any and all hidden costs in buying a property in the UK, I'm going to highlight which ones catch people out all the time. And by the way, my name's Joseph, but you can call me Job. I am a mortgage and protection advisor in the UK, and these are the costs that I see people miss day in and day out. By the way, one of these catches people out all the time. Let's start with solicitors, because this is one of the most common ones and it is one of the more expensive ones in this list. And again, it catches people out all the time because not only do they know how much it might cost them, but they also don't know when these costs have to be paid. Now, a little bit of relief here, most of your legal cost, yes, one of the highest costs in the home buying journey, aside from your deposit, is paid at the end of the deal, which is again a massive relief, but it's worth noting, not all of it is paid at the end. Now, the only cost that you're going to anticipate near the start of the journey, and again, you can sort of manage as and when that you make this payment, is the searches. And this is anywhere from £300 all the way to £500, depending on your local parishment, depending on the property and a couple of other things, but £300 to £500 is what you're expected to pay within the first month or so of your home buying journey. Again, it's up to you. You can have it the day your offer's accepted on the property, but I would say if you want to protect yourself a little bit from investing money into a property that you're not the owner of, then again, you can wait until you've had either a successful valuation on the property from the mortgage provider or the full mortgage offer. Again, it's up to you. Both of those give you a little bit of additional protection, because if the deal falls through, you really want to have that money invested into the property when you're not the legal owner. Give yourself that little bit of extra protection. It's definitely worth it. Next on the list, which is your cost 2 here, is surveys. And this is a really important one to cover, because this is where people try and save money, because this is an optional extra. When I look at surveys, the number one thing I say to people is either spend now or spend later scenario. If you skip it, you risk potentially missing massive problems with a property that you wouldn't be able to see with your naked eye. And if you pay for it now, you reduce that risk because you're having a professional surveyor go out to a property and try and find problems with the property before you're the legal owner, which is the best time to do it. A lot of people try to save money because, again, this can cost anything from £500 to £800 depending on the quality of survey you end up going for, whether it's a level 2 survey or a level 3 survey. But for the sake of spending £500 to £800 on a property surveyor to go out and have a look for you, they can end up saving you thousands of pounds by identifying issues with the property before you're the owner. Because again, any information they find on a private survey can be used to potentially renegotiate or even just walk away from a deal. And before I move on to the next section, I have to say, as a mortgage advisor, we see horror stories almost on a weekly basis with private surveys, where they identify not £1,000 to £2,000 worth of issues, but potentially even tens of thousands of pounds worth of problems with a property, which is enough to potentially make someone move on from that property altogether. If someone hadn't spent £500 to £800 on a private survey, tens of thousands of pounds worth of repairs costs would have been their responsibility as a legal owner. So again, give yourself that option by spending that money. Again, I know you want to save money right now, but it's not worth it most of the time. Now, cost number 3 here is mortgage fees. Now, this one confuses almost everyone. Some mortgage deals come with fees in excess of £1,000. And what most people don't realise is that you can often add these fees onto the loan itself. But a big caveat here is that you will have to pay interest because, again, that is increasing your borrowing amount. So you have to pay interest on that amount. So what some buyers do is they add it onto the loan to reduce their upfront costs. Therefore, you don't have to pay the fee until you're a legal owner of the property. And when they are a legal owner of the property, if they have the money available, they make an overpayment, which means they never had to pay interest on that amount. But again, you haven't increased your upfront costs because you've cleared it as and when you're the owner of the property, not before. Now, a little bonus cost in here is a mortgage advisor's costs. And it is something that some people just don't think about when actually hiring a mortgage advisor, or at least looking for a mortgage advisor, is the potential costs of having one. Some advisors are free, some advisors charge fees. But here's the really important part to consider with this bonus cost. a mortgage advisor isn't just a cost. They can actually help save you money if you use them right and if they're good at what they do. By finding you better deals, maybe not even from the outset, but just throughout the process itself. So if we're in a market where rates are decreasing, again, a good mortgage advisor will continue switching you. So hopefully saving you some money there. Structuring your mortgage properly. So not just giving you the cheapest possible structure by increasing your term to the absolute maximum, but understanding your situation so that you're not paying off the mortgage for 5 to 10 additional years just because it's cheaper to do so on a monthly basis. But again, actually considering the longer term costs of having a mortgage, because again, the longer you have the mortgage, the longer you pay interest, unfortunately. And the third one here, which is the biggest one, is actually guiding you through the process. And again, it is one of these things where buying a house can be extremely stressful. If you have a good mortgage advisor, that should be mitigated massively. They take on the stress for you. And then something even more important to consider and definitely look out for is that some advisors are essentially no win, no fee. My firm is one of those. Again, any fees that are payable are only payable if we are completely successful and you have the keys to your new home in your hands. Again, this is really, really important because it reduces any upfront costs and means that you're only paying towards that property if you're the owner of that property, which is definitely my preference anyway. And having a no-win, no-fee advisor only takes the pressure off, especially if things don't go to plan and it's not your fault. Again, things happen, you're buying a property off someone, if they pull out of the deal for whatever reason, which can happen, you're not going to be punished for that. Now, cost 4 here is stamp duty. And it's something that people don't consider, but because of the recent changes in stamp duty, it's actually one of the potentially biggest costs you may face, but it does completely depend on your situation. Now, I'm going to include a link in the description of this video, which basically sends you to one of the more reputable stamp duty calculators. If you input all the data accurately, you're going to be able to work out how much stamp duty you may have to pay, if anything. If you're a first-time buyer, the threshold is a little bit higher, therefore there's less chance that you will have to pay stamp duty, and if it is, it's going to be hopefully a lot less than a home mover. If you're a home mover, the threshold does change by quite some margin, but again, go and work out that cost because it is incredibly important to understand, because what I don't want you to do is go through the process and then find out right at the very end that there's thousands of pounds of stamp duty payable that you weren't aware of. It should be part of your planning process very, very early on, understanding what you may or may not have to pay. Now, cost 5, and this one catches almost everyone out, is moving. Removals, packing, time off work, all these things potentially cost you money. I've had clients where they've had quotes in excess of £1,000 for a professional mover to come and move their items for them because, again, they're insured to do so. And then packing and actually moving may require you to take time off work. And if you've already used your full annual leave for the year, you may have to buy additional days. Therefore, again, losing money, which could be hundreds of pounds, depending if it's one of you, two of you, both taking 1, 2, maybe 3 days off to move and potentially set everything up. So again, potentially up to £1,000 again worth of costs that you just haven't considered. But you can do things cheaply if you want to. It's just harder. Again, moving, maybe a long day over the weekend, maybe a long couple of days over the weekend, just moving everything bit by bit. And again, you do also have the option of renting a van for a day, which is fun. I did it, and it cost me under £100. So again, you can save a lot of money if you do it in the right way, but again, it's not right for everyone. And cost 6 is often overlooked, especially in older properties. It's repairs. And when this hits, it really does hit. You can move into an older property and suddenly you've got boiler issues. You need to buy new furniture or replace the furniture that's already there, and you need to decorate the property. Again, these costs isn't just one cost, it is a accumulation of several costs in one. I've seen people furnish a property for as little as £3,000, 2-3 bedroom house. But I know personally that can easily add up to in excess of £10,000 when you're looking at beds, refrigerators, washing machines, dishwashers. All these different things can add up very, very quickly. And sofas these days, you'll be lucky to find one under £1,000 if it's brand new and a bigger one. And again, I've seen some people spend a lot more on furniture like that as well. So again, taking into consideration these different repairs is really, really important, and not committing all of your budget towards the deposit and other costs and actually leaving some to go into your new home is extremely important. And again, like I said, it isn't just one cost when it comes to repairs. It is the accumulation of several different things over time, like paint, furniture, boiler. Again, it can add up quickly. And I said, everyone gets it wrong. The biggest hidden cost of everything here isn't just one select cost. It's underestimating what everything adds up to as a whole. Solicitors, surveys, mortgage advisor fees, mortgage product fees, moving costs, repairs, they all add up over time. And again, it needs to be something that you're prepared for and understand as a whole, because almost everyone underestimates the total cost, not just one cost, but as a accumulation of all of them together. Now, the smartest buyers don't just prepare for their deposit, they plan for the full cost of buying a property in the UK. That's all the different fees and all the different costs that we've covered in this video. They plan for all of it. And a good rule to follow, and again, it's a tough rule to follow, is to have a buffer. Not just about enough to get in, but enough to actually stay comfortable when buying a home in the UK. Make sure that not only you can cover all the costs, including your deposit, but just having a little bit of wiggle room at the top there in case things come back a little bit more expensive. So maybe an extra 5% on top of all the additional costs aside from the deposit. Again, you want to make sure that you're comfortable when buying your home. If you want to understand exactly what your costs are going to look like and exactly what the process should look like, that is what I help people with every single day. So what I want you to do is go into the description of this video, find the link to booking a meeting with myself, click on that link, go through to our website, find a day that works best for you, click on that day, find a time on the available slots there, go through that link, put in your information and any questions you may have, and then we will hop on a quick call together, 15-30 minutes, just go through any and all questions you may have and prepare you as best as humanly possible for buying your first home or moving home. Now, I have an absolutely perfect video on your screen right now, which is, do you need a mortgage in principle in the UK? It is an extremely important video to position yourself in the best possible way in this market and any market in the future to make sure that you get the best terms out of your purchase. And it can not only save you a good amount of money, but it can potentially be the difference between landing your next property or your first home and failing. Click on the video and I hope to speak to you guys very, very soon. Thank you.